As opposed to what the current president said, that women belong to the other room, our principal has something to say. He said that women are more productive, they are more passionate about their work, and they are less corrupt. We'll be dissecting this statement in a minute, but on the show with us is Miss Vivian. Hi, Miss Vivian. Okay. Of women in nation building, and I'm joined by my amiable co-host in personal.
My name is Pikachu. Welcome to the program.
My name is Jessica.
Okay, so together we're going to be looking at the role that women play. First of all, what role exactly do you think that women are playing in this current election?
I think the role of women, as we see it in the upcoming 2023 elections in Nigeria, is pretty evident, right? I think that in every campaign, every town hall, and across parties, you've seen women, you've seen them behind the scenes and on the front of the scenes. And I think that our principal really has made it a point between him and his wife to ensure that women feel included in this electioneering process. And so I think that's what we're seeing. There's been town halls in just about every campaign setting so far that include women. And there's a reason for that, because women hold a predominant role in nation building and in society at large. So I think we recognize that. And we can't talk about the role of women without talking about the role of children and the youth, which is what our principal has championed.
Exactly. I totally agree to what you're saying. But I want us to understand something, and maybe we'll get it from your own perspective. Do you think that women involvement, not just politics, and nation building can be linked to the family and the role they play in the family?
Absolutely. I think that particularly in our culture, we recognize that women play a really strong role in building family units. And if we want a nation that mirrors a healthy family unit, then the role of women it's indispensable. We have to recognize that women are not just caretakers, but they're also nurturers, and more importantly, they're educators, right? And so if this is happening in our family settings, we have to recognize that this is going to be mirrored in our societies. So we have to recognize that women are teachers. Women teach us not just in the home, but they also teach us in various government settings. So I think that it's something that's obvious, but I think it's been so normalized that it's almost understated. And we don't often speak to how large, right, the role of a woman is in terms of nation building. We often look to men, and we often look to see the success that has come thereafter women have
very true. Very correct. I'm going to be asking you another question that is in link to what you just said. You mentioned that women play a vital role in family, and those children that they train will end up becoming part of the society. So are you trying to say that bad women, not bad women in a sense, women who do not take their role seriously will end up affecting the kind of leaders that we have right now?
Absolutely. I feel as though every parent that doesn't play their role is to blame more so, or to we can say that those individuals left children out. and we can speak to that. Similarly, our principle says that, you know, the bandits, the insurgents, the poor, the people in our society who have who in turn give us a negative look or a negative impact to our society were once children that were neglected by our society. So I focus on the role of women because it is where our topic base is. But that does not mean that men are not responsible for the way our society is today. And we can highly speak to the fact that it's been men that have, you know, greatly attributed to where our education sector is, where our healthcare sector is, where we are as a nation at whole. But I will say that it definitely takes both parents. But I think that I think that the role of a woman is more so underserved and it's not spoken about a lot, especially when it comes to successes. But when it comes to, you know, negative things, then we remember that a woman did not raise her child. And I don't think
that's true. That's true.
Okay, let's come back to Nigeria and the elections that are coming up on the 25th of February. Okay, so before now, it's common knowledge that young ladies do not participate in politics. These are uninterested about the political scene and what happens. They don't even vote. Okay, some people have even lost interest in voting and they would say the votes don't count. But with the emergence of Peter Obi, we see a different scenario. Now, young people are interested again in voting and participating in electing their leaders. Now, do you think that we can see a difference from now to our future? Do you think that the dynamics in Nigeria, when it comes to young people participating in politics, is changing?
Absolutely. I think that particularly why we at any point saw a lack of interest, right, particularly with the girl child, is because of the cultural dynamics surrounding the girl child, right? So we have to recognize that when we're looking at politics and engagement from an African and from a Nigerian perspective, right? So while your child, you know, and that's a whole nother discussion. But I do think that the benefit and what we're all seeing and what we should focus on is that young people care now, right? And that young people are starting to see themselves in the electioneering process. And I think that's why you saw maybe a disinterest previously, is that I didn't see myself in these settings. This is why representation matters. This is why youth representation matters. And therefore, this is why women representation matters. Because when I see women in these settings, when I see in these settings, then I will become engaged because I will recognize that I have a place.
Vivian, are you still there?
I am.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. And in relation to what you said, currently, this present government has less than 8% of women representation in government. Do you see Peter Obi's government changing that? I mean, with his past record as former governor of Anambra State?
Absolutely. I think that an individual, we can know an individual by their antecedents. He had vast women representation while governor of Anambra State. And so I don't see any reason why he would not go into government at a federal level and mimic that same level of representation. It's what I expect. I spoke with him when we organized his coming down here in North Carolina, and we asked those hard questions. And he said that he was committed to women representation and to youth representation in his government.
Oh, okay. I think Jessica, you wanted to ask her a question.
Okay, Vivian, you're calling from the US, right?
I am.
What is it like supporting Peter Obi from the US?
I think that for those of us in the diaspora that believe in a more developed Nigeria and recognize the financial and societal growth that could happen, I think for us, it's important to be engaged in the politics of our country. I think that it's been easy to support from here because, to be very honest, we have a candidate that is very easy to market. His antithesis is great. And because of that, we wholeheartedly believe in his government. So we are willing to support him financially with our US dollars and any other form of support he needs.
Exactly. Before we go on this break, I need us to understand that our principal, Ms. Peter Obi, said in a tweet that women are more passionate about their work, they are less corrupt and more productive. We want to see how true this is and how it applies in the private sector. We'll do that when we come back on the break.
Labour Party, Labour Party, Labour Party, Labour Party, Labour Party, can you get a vote? Labour Party, Labour Party, Labour Party, can you get a vote? Labour Party, Labour Party, Labour say, Mama Papa na Labour Party, Mama Papa na Labour say, Mama Papa na Labour Party, Mama Papa na Labour Party.
Mr. Peter Obi's administration built from scratch Chukwuemeka Odumegwu University Teaching Hospital with 25 building structures. His government funded transformation of massive infrastructural development, accreditation of 12 health institutions and 2 hospitals, and also built 10 maternal and childcare centers across the state. He is the first governor to purchase medical equipment worth over 135 million naira and 50 ambulances for the health sector in Anambra State, which remain functional till today. He built and equipped Dr. Jonwilo Heart Center in St. Joseph Hospital, Adazinnuku, where heart operations are performed. Anambra State is the first state in Nigeria to distribute more than 30,000 computers to secondary schools. Mr. Peter Obi distributed about 700 buses to secondary schools in Anambra State and built 200 primary school blocks. He donated the sum of 300 million naira to Anglican churches and 440 million naira to Roman Catholic churches to rehabilitate their missionary schools. During his tenure, he gave 1 million naira each to more than 160 first-class graduates. To promote the reading culture in the state, he went ahead to build a well-equipped library known as Prof. Kennedy DK Library, Oka. He also rehabilitated the divisional library in Onitsha and gave 500,000 naira to each secondary school in the state to provide library materials. This boosted the student performance from the 26th position in Nigeria to the first position. The security.
Welcome back from the very short break. This is still the Obidient Women, and today's topic, we're talking about women involvement in nation building, and I'm joined by my co-hosts.
Pikachu is still here.
And this is still Jessica, right?
I should have answered my name myself.
Okay, thanks, sorry about that. We're also joined from the US by Vivian. And we've been asking her some questions on the role that women play in nation building. Okay, before we went on that break, we're talking about the statement that Peter B released on Twitter. He said that women are more productive, less corrupt, and more passionate about their work. And I did a little bit of research to see if that is true. You know how he says we should go and verify? So I was trying to verify that statement. And according to the Economic Women Affairs, they said that women work 10% more than the male counterparts. And they said that women are more engaged in their work. It also confirmed that it is the chance of a woman collecting bribe or giving bribe is lesser than the male counterpart. So it's important that we state that out. And I also know that you are active on social media. I mean that's how Peter B came to limelight, but that's how a lot of people started recognizing him. That you are playing on social media to champion the movement.
I think that the role of social media has literally been such a blessing in terms of pushing this movement forward, and in
Yeah,
terms of
exactly.
connecting Nigerians in the diaspora with Nigerians on
Yeah.
ground and pushing these mobilization efforts forward in that regard as well. So I'm a part of various support groups. Please join support groups. The way that Nigeria's electioneering process has been changed by this movement is like, it's almost unexplainable, right? And I think that social media has played a large role in this, of joining support groups, but championing political, education across social media networks has been really important, right? If that means hosting spaces, if that means getting on Zoom calls, if that means, getting on Instagram, using whatever platforms, even TikTok, to boost this movement forward. That's what we have to do in this day and age. And that's what a lot of Obedients are committed to doing.
Okay, that is very true. But there is a controversy that was going on for a while. They called Obedience four people sitting in a corner tweeting. Do you think that we have access to grassroots, I mean, to the people at the grassroots, or people who are not available on social media?
Absolutely. I was actually in Nigeria just for the past 2 months. And I actually, with Take Back Nigeria, we did various support engagements on the ground in various villages in Abuja. These were health walks. We did health tours. We were talking to the grassroots. We were in villages. We were walking, talking, and doing everything we needed to do on ground to push this movement forward. And that's what people are doing off of social media. And trust me, it wasn't just the four of us.
That's very nice. Jessica, you wanted to say something?
Actually, I'm kind of inspired by what she has been doing so far. The fact that you are currently in the US and you go all out to, mobilize. So what are the challenges so far? Obviously, resources, it takes a lot of things, but can you tell us what are the challenges so far?
The challenges have definitely been, for one, I will say, financial challenges and mobilization challenges. But I would like to buttress all of those main challenges with the fact that we have Obedients across the nation, across the US, that have been so committed to funding a lot of this. This is not something that we needed to go to the Labour Party for, or Peter Obi for, or request funding. These are Nigerians across cultures that want to donate, that want to fund the education and the advancement of their country back home. So we've had people that have just, randomly called, donated so amount, and been able to push our efforts forward. So we thank Nigeria.
Interesting.
That's lovely. Pikat, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, it's by the way, you're doing a great job, Vivian. Thank you so much for all the work that you've put into this.
Yeah.
It's just about 29 days or 30 days to the elections. What more do you think can be done within this period to ensure that Peter Obi is victorious at the polls?
I think the focus, at least between me being a younger person within the support networks, I think the focus is now on our students. We recognize that students may be in school during the time of election. And so we are working to empower students to know that it is their civic duty, and more importantly, their civic right, coming election. While we do have groups that are still focused on the grassroots, we know that their support is invaluable. Some of us that are a bit younger are looking to discuss and push students and empower students to do whatever it is necessary to vote. No student should be left behind, and no student should be disenfranchised.
Of course. And according to a recent data released by INEC, it shows that women and youth hold 75% of successfully registered votes. So I think they are taking this seriously. I think they're taking this pretty seriously. Talking about young people and students, especially, I want us to look at the education sector for a minute and how passionate Mr. P2B is concerning this sector. We've seen how he went all out when he was the governor of Anambra State. He did a whole lot of amazing things. So, as the president of, let me just say, the incoming president of Nigeria, do you see that same pattern or that same record he had in Anambra State repeating itself nationwide?
Absolutely. There is no question that Peter Obi will take what he did in Anambra State to the federal level. We recognize that education is a poverty alleviation.
Yeah.
And in a country where over half the population is poverty stricken, we must look to education to help alleviate and pull our citizens out of poverty. Peter Obi recognizes this, his running mate, he recognizes this, and they have championed education. And this is why I believe a lot of young people particularly are behind this Obidient movement, because we as young people recognize, as young Nigerians, we recognize that education is invaluable and we want to learn. We therefore should be given a quality education in our country. We shouldn't have to leave the shores of our waters to seek for quality education.
Oh, Vivian, are you there?
Yes.
I can hear you. Hello, Vivian.
You can go on. We can hear you.
I can't hear her.
Oh.
I can hear you all. But yes, I do think that Peter Obi will mimic this at the federal level, and he's already made promises to do so. Promises that based off his antecedents, we can trust and believe.
Okay, Vivian. I think we got that loud and clear. And let's also talk about the contributions that women are making. I mean, we've seen women during the 1 million march, right?
Yeah.
They have supported with money, they've supported with edibles. I saw a trending video online one time, a woman that closed down her entire store to feed the people on the streets. They were having this 1 million march and they were walking from places. And this woman closed her entire, she's not the only person. She was not the only person that did that. And we also see women starting up support groups for other women, giving them political education, sensitizing them about the need for a new government and telling them how to vote. And can you make any comments on that?
I think it speaks to the level of engagement and the level of commitment that women have to the improvement of our society. I think that this has been seen over the last decade, but I think that in today's technological generation, everything is more amplified. And that's a good thing, because what's being amplified is the role of women when it comes to nation building. We have been committed financially to the improvement of this nation. We have been committed in almost every regard to the advancement of Nigeria. So it's a good thing that it's finally being amplified and people are able to see it on a large scale.
Okay, we have so much more to talk about on the show here, but we'll be going on a short break.
And also paid monthly stipends to the elderly in the state. Mr. P2B built the first secretariat complex in Anambra State to house the various Anambra State government ministries that were scattered all over the state. His good governance attracted the second largest brewery in the world, known as Sab Miller, to build their first greenfield facility in the state. He was recognized by the Millennium Development Goals (MDG) as the best governor in the implementation of their programs in Nigeria. P2B constructed 2 bridges across the popular Agulu Lake in Anyocha local government area of Anambra State at the cost of 2 billion naira. He He funded Agulu Lake Hotel Project, Golden Tulip, and reconstruction of Upper Iweka bridges at the axis of Enugu-Onitsha Expressway with 6 lanes. Peter Obi constructed 800 kilometers of road network between rural and urban areas. Some of the roads include Ibariam Internal Road, Ekulobia Ezinifite Road, Niger Drive Onitsha, Ifite Dunu Road, construction of Zik Avenue and Mpo Flyover, 30 verifiable bridges, Ezu Ebenebe Bridge, Oka North, Isu Anyocha Bridge, Opaka River Bridge, pedestrian bridge at permanent site Unizik Junction, Oka. He created industrial parks as catalysts for industrialization. He constructed and commissioned the Governor's Lodge at Annex Onitsha, FMR Customary Court of Appeal Complex, High Court buildings at Nnewi and Ogidi, Judges' Quarters at Onitsha. His visionary leadership brought unprecedented transformation to the local government in Anambra State. He made provision for 1.2 billion naira credit facilities to farmers in the state and cleared a 20 million naira debt owed banks as a result of the 2012 flood devastation. Peter Obi's administration purchased 90 buses and taxis for Anis Mass Transit Company. He adopted the
Welcome back from that very short break. I am still Sharon Chuku, and we are here talking about women's involvement in nation building. And we've had with us Miss Vivian, all the way from the US, who is championing the movement and mobilizing young people in Nigeria and talking about P2B generally. Thank you very much for all you're doing. And we've had so much insight on what is going on, especially on social media. And I'm really gladdened by the fact that it doesn't end on social media.
Yeah.
You go as far as reaching people in Nigeria, rural areas, and just contributing amazing things to making sure that this dream is a reality. So from Obidient Family TV, we want to say thank you. We want to say that we appreciate what you're doing and that you're doing an amazing job.
Thank you all so much. I do appreciate your time, and we look forward to the upcoming election.
All right. Thank you very much. That'll be all from you now. Thank you. Do have a lovely day. Okay, this has been an amazing time.
Yeah, indeed.
Because I've got to personally, for me, I think it's learning about the contribution they are making in grassroots level.
And the fact that they can leave US to Nigeria
She
just to
came
mobilize
down
people.
to Nigeria for 2 months.
Yeah.
For the sake of
you understand, just for Obidati, and it's crazy. I'm sure she's not the only person that has been doing this, and it just goes to show how personal people are taking this. And I want us to take a look at we're talking about women's involvement, right? And I want us to take a look at the support groups that women have been championing, the support groups that women have been bringing to life. It's not just about starting a support group, it's about keeping it alive, and women have stayed true to their word. Okay, the other day, the wife of, should I say, the incoming First Lady, in person of Mrs. Margaret Obi, she was conducting a lecture in Abuja for a support group known as NAMO. I think she was trying to explain to them the need for their involvement and the essence of their contribution in this election and how it cannot be overemphasized. And talking about the incoming First Lady, we see how she is very passionate about this election. We see her hand in hand with her husband in rallies. We see her lecture women. We see her talk to women leaders. And to me, that is absolutely amazing. We want a First Lady that we can see. We want someone who is involved in women's affairs. We want someone who is bringing out the best from women. Because I don't know if you agree with me, but I think that the reason sometimes why it might seem that women are not active in government is because they don't believe that they have something to offer. I mean, don't you agree?
So. Yes. I think that you don't blame the men all the time. Okay, if you're looking for power, nobody's going to hand it over to you on a platter. You have to prove yourself. Okay, you have to stand up to the occasion and stand shoulder to shoulder with these men. If you want any position or want any position or you want any place in the political scene, it's a very well, I say very tough terrain.
Yeah,
Okay, you have to
it
build
is.
tough skin,
Yeah.
okay, to be part of it. So I see ladies talking about representation, women representation, and all of that. Just know that it's not going to be handed to you. You have to take it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to also contribute to what you just said. No, we intend to have a program based on women in politics about women against women, because I see some women who are against other women who are in the position of power, and it's crazy because if you want to see change and you believe that women should put themselves out there, why are you against your fellow women?
Okay.
That is
That's for another day.
that's something that we are going to discuss.
Yes.
But just to like hint on that a little, we have a man in our midst, so it's okay if we
Exactly.
drop this on the table, let everybody understand where I'm coming from. Okay, so you just mentioned about women being against women, and I think it's because of the culture that we are in. This is a highly patrilineal culture. This culture doesn't regard women in any way, not in our traditions, not in any form at all. And then it's just crazy because I don't know how you expect a woman from a culture as ours to even dream, to even have the mind to dream and see that there's a possibility of greatness. So she already has this mindset here that she should end in the kitchen, or that she should take good care of her children. Most women find fulfillment from that. Most women find fulfillment.
I don't think it's bad, actually.
It's not bad. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say that it's bad. I'm trying to explain exactly where this is coming from. I'm trying to explain why women don't even try as much as possible to engage or even try to try. If you understand what I'm saying, it's because of where they are coming from. It's because of their background. The culture shocks them up. I mean, if this is a normal traditional setting, we are not even supposed to be talking while you talk. We're not supposed to sit while you're sitting. That's what we found ourselves in.
Interesting.
So for a woman, a Nigerian woman, to take herself out of that position or to take herself out of that mindset, she has to do a lot of work. She has to put in a whole lot of work, and it's not easy. This is something that has been ingrained in our mindset.
But this is 21st century, you know.
Okay.
So women should understand that we are in a revolutionary moment, right? And I think this, like you pointed out, this is a mindset problem.
Okay.
If we allow ourselves to change our mindsets, because definitely what that woman that you are envying or your backbiting is doing is something that is going to change you, change your children. So this is a matter of changing your mindset. There is no excuse to this. This is 21st century, for crying out loud.
Okay. I think this is going to get deep, and we're going to exhaust the topic we have for tomorrow. So I want us to wrap up. We've heard what Vivian from the US said. We've heard her contributions, and I want to know if there's anything you'd like to add.
I'm just happy to see that women are standing up. Especially the younger generation. We had Wayne yesterday, and today is Vivian. You know, it's just a good thing, you know, trajectory to where we have to be. So it just shows that there is hope. And the person that is bringing about this hope is no other person but Mr. Peter B. You see the promise that this man has brought to Nigeria. So I think that for the first time we're going to have women really getting involved, young people as well. Young women getting involved in politics in Nigeria, and it's going to change the political scene. And probably the country, just like we started with nation building, and you guys highlighted, even though I have my reservation, but let's just keep that, about how the women transform the society and how good women make good leaders. I agree with that. Calm down. Let's yes, good women make good leaders. They raise children. And we wanted to talk about Peter B's mom, but probably we'll leave it for another day, and how he was raised. But it's just about the promise that the candidacy of Mr. Peter B has brought back to Nigeria. And we're just so excited to be a part of this movement. So we want to urge everyone that is watching, whether you're a young lady, middle-aged lady, or an old lady, old woman, please get on board and get your PVC and start warming up to go out on election day. One of these days we're going to talk about how women don't go out on election day. They'll rather stay at home and relax.
And cook food for their men. They cook food for after you want to vote, you come back and eat food.
Wow. So this time around, everybody is leaving the house.
Yes,
okay. Everybody is
Mama,
leaving the
Papa,
house.
Pikin.
Exactly.
Period.
All right, so that's it for me.
All right.
Anyway, I think Pika said it all. I have no other thing to say. Just get your PVC and don't stop saying that you're a woman, you can't do anything, or it doesn't give you the chance to express yourself.
Exactly. And then you mentioned something about Peter Obi being the reason for this change.
Yes,
I think that Peter Obi has given us a lot of hope that we've lost for a long time. We didn't even know when we lost that hope. But Peter Obi came into the picture and we began to dream again. We began to, because I'm not even going to lie, I personally, when my mom used to say, oh, don't worry, Nigeria will get better. Oh, don't worry, things will change. I completely did not see how that was going to happen. I mean, how would you have explained it to me, a Nigerian young lady, with reasons being that every sector of Nigeria was just terrible. Everything was falling apart. Education, health, there was no infrastructure, nothing. There's still none at the moment, and it was just very hard to believe in that kind of atmosphere. But with Peter being in the picture, we see that there is hope for better. There's hope for more. There's hope for involvement, and this issue of underrepresentation of women, we see it changing. Do you understand? So I think the sheer presence of that hope has done a whole lot. And to every woman who is listening, to every woman who is watching us from anywhere at all in the world, be you Nigerian, be you anybody, I need you to understand that there is no limit to what you can achieve as a woman. I need you to understand that you are capable of greatness. I need you to understand that there is so much you can bring to the table. There's so much that you can bring to the table, and it would be an absolute pleasure to have more women represented in our government. It would be an honor to see women doing big things in Nigeria. I think that will be all for today. This has been an absolute pleasure. I enjoyed my time, and I particularly enjoyed the input of our guests in person of Ms. Vivian. And to everybody who is watching, thank you very much for sticking with us. Don't forget that this is still Obidient Family TV, and the show is Obedient Women. Women that are obedient for Peter Obi / man that is obedient for Peter Obi. Okay, don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms. We are active. It is Obidient Family TV on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and on YouTube. We are also active on our own personal social media platforms. I am active as Sharon Edemchuku on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
My handle is at official PKACH, official PCatch. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok.
And mine is Jessica _double_ on Instagram, and Jessica Chinwe on Facebook.
Okay, thank you very much. I think that will be all for now. Till we see you next time. Do have a good day, and bye.
Bye.
Indebted state in Nigeria, Mr. Peter Obi handed 75 billion naira to his successor, Mr. Willie Obiano. The credibility and reputation of Peter Obi as a competent visionary leader in public service governance and management of state resources remains undisputable.